Welcome back to Bearcats Mean Business, the official podcast of the University of Cincinnati's Carl H. Lindner College of Business. My name is Grant Freaking, Manager of College Communications and Marketing at Lindner. We've just wrapped up the fall 2024 semester, and what a fall it was. To review the past few months, and to long for warmer temperatures, it is my pleasure to welcome Dean Marianne Lewis back to Bearcats Mean Business. Hi, Mar.
Oh, hi, Grant. Glad to be here with you.
So much good happened at Lindner this past fall. You and I spoke off-air about how to weave these various developments, updates, launches, and more under a single idea. And you came up with the idea of cooperative, or to phrase it in another way, partner-powered education.
The more I think about this one, Grant, our emphasis and really our strategic plan is to be the leading co-op business school in the United States. And when we say co-op, oftentimes I think we think of co-op as, the way I differentiate is little c versus big C. A little c co-op is an internship. A wonderful opportunity, right? A one-off that a student gets to go have a real-life experience, see what they like, what they don't like, what they can be good at. A whole host of eye-opening opportunities. I love little c co-op. But big C is cooperative. And to me, cooperative means partners. It means this feedback loop that helps us all continue to learn and get better. And the more I think about that, and I have a wonderful job. I get to see the fabulous learning and development of our students, but I very much also spend probably more of my time with the partners. And making more of that is what this is about.
That's very true. This fall ushered in year 2 of Universal Co-op, meaning our traditional first-year students enrolled with the knowledge that they must complete at least 2 co-op experiences prior to graduation.
Yeah, I'm so excited about that. To me, co-op has long been our greatest differentiator for our students. It just sets them apart in so many different ways. And now I'm seeing the opportunity to make more of it in a more systematic way. I'll give you the example, Grant. I got back 2 days ago from New York, and it's amazing to meet alumni in New York who talk about how hard it was to go through the interview processes on Wall Street when they're the only non-Ivy Leaguer sitting at the table. And within about 30 seconds to a minute of the conversation, realizing they're also the only ones at the table with any experience. And it matters.
It does.
And I love that. And I want to make sure the students know that's what it's about. It's really about leaning into experience.
And that professional experience while you're within these walls still is invaluable. Now, I should note that Lindner's continued excellence in cooperative education would not be sustainable without the hundreds of employer partners, which you just hinted at, who furnish the college's students with multiple paid professional work experiences to bolster the students' networks, resumes, and skills. And those partnerships helped Lindner students complete more than 1,000 co-ops over the 2023-2024 academic year. Now, it's important to note that there is no one-size-fits-all employer partnership at Lindner. Marianne's nodding her head. Small to mid-sized businesses, nonprofits, and large corporations alike team up with Lindner's award-winning career services office to meet their co-op needs.
Grant, I'm glad you say that, because I think it's absolutely critical for our partners, particularly our employers, to know that variety is integral to Lindner. And yes, I love our Lindner Career Services. They are remarkable experts in this field. So to give you kind of a bit of a flavor of what that variety looks like, and I think I'm going to go on two sides of the spectrum. On the one side, if you went to non-UC for business schools and universities, what they're really talking about is summer internships, which I believe in. I absolutely believe in summer internships. There's a host of organizations that's what they're looking for. But then you can go to the other side and you can go to, say, and again, I have great respect for DAP and engineering here at UC. They have a very clear and pretty rigorous 1 semester on, 1 semester off. It's structured and it's somewhat rigid. We at Lindner do both. We do all, because what's most important for us and our students is that they get really good work experience opportunities. And the only way for that to happen is for those experiences to work for the employer. So if your employer, if I am talking to a partner and they say, boy, I don't know what to do with them except in the summer. Well, then great. Let's make the most of your summer. If I'm talking to an accounting firm, oh my gosh, the busy season in spring, please, that's where we should double down. Okay, great, let's do. The point being, if it's flexible for the employers, it's really good experiences for the students. And that's how it works on both sides. So, and it's our career services that help make sure that that match is working.
As you were explaining that, flexibility immediately came to mind, and I'm glad you mentioned it at the end there. That's the word that came to mind, and that flexibility fits our distinction here at Lindner, DAP, and engineering and other places at UC. That works for them. I think this works best for us, absolutely.
I do too.
And you mentioned the feedback loop earlier. Now, Linder's partner-powered education also shows up with our partners serving as co-creators as part of a feedback loop of program innovation. Stay with me here. For example, partners with the Center for Business Analytics are fueling our new applied AI offerings.
Actually, I was with the Applied AI Lab team yesterday, and I love this example. So, I mean, when I talk about the feedback loop, right, from an employer perspective, things are moving really fast in industry, in a lot of fields. In AI, it's lightning, right? It's just so fast. The change is ongoing. How do we make sure that we're learning from those changes so that we're continuing to innovate in our curriculum and making sure that our students have the skills they need in the industry? Put in the middle of that are faculty and our staff, right? Our faculty who are teaching need to and doing research need to understand what's happening in the industry. Our staff, like career services, need to understand that variety. So now we lean into applied AI. All right, here's a field that is moving incredibly fast, and our Center for Business Analytics has long done projects. That's what they do for their partners. And they bring students in and they get real life opportunities to understand what's happening. They've now doubled down on what's going on with AI and growing the number of projects that are AI related, and now expanding and built out a fellowship program for faculty. So they're getting more faculty as well as students in those projects. The point of that is we need more of our community to see what's happening in industry and see how quickly it's changing. Because the issue with AI is, in some ways, it's amorphous. Like people go, well, if it's everything to everybody, it's nothing to no one. So what do you actually do with AI? And if you're working with a partner, like Fifth Third is a great partner as an example, and you can see what are they doing in a big way, right? Really revolutionizing what's happening in banking with AI, and in very important little ways at every desktop to help people be a little more productive, use their brain power and their time more wisely with AI. Well, by being with them in projects, we get to learn what Fifth Third's doing. Fifth Third then in turn looks to our faculty and staff to say, help us think outside the box because we only know banking.
Right.
So you see what I'm doing? So this becomes we're all learning together so that our students can learn faster. And that's how, to me, the big C for cooperative works. And I love that example because they do beautiful stuff.
It's the Empowering Business Problem Solvers feedback loop.
It is.
Now, yeah, the Applied AI Lab, which is led by Kirk and Jackie Perry Professor of Analytics, Jeff Schaefer, again, underscores our commitment at Lindner to providing training and education in this field. And just to sample some of the offerings that are available right now, they include public and private Center for Business Analytics training courses and the new AI and Business Graduate Certificate. Now, I spoke to Jeff Schaefer at an event recently, and he assured me that there are more exciting applied AI developments on the horizon, so stay tuned for updates there.
Yeah, I would add, an example of that update, right? He's working on a host of ways, as is our department in this area, on either non-degree programs, so quick, easier, right? Here's what you need now to upskill around AI, and then deeper dives into degree programs. But the other thing that's happening, Grant, is that Jeff is leading efforts so that our faculty and staff are having trainings of their own. Again, it's moving fast. Some people are going to be deep experts in AI. Others, myself included, are going to know enough to be dangerous and to make sure that we understand the language, understand what's possible, and then know who the experts really are.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned some upskilling, and we've got some good news on that front too from this fall. We relaunched Linder's professional programs to meet the needs of professionals seeking lifelong learning, upskilling, and micro-credentials. Now, Linder's professional programs are short, concentrated bursts of learning open to business professionals at every stage of their career. I want to emphasize that, at every stage of their career. Now, we offer custom private programs for companies, as well as open enrollment programs like the Level Up Leadership Development Program, which is run in conjunction with the Warren Bennis Leadership Institute. And I know, Mary, you have a personal connection to this one.
I do have a personal connection. So I'm going to start at a higher level and then go into the Level Up program, which I think is fantastic. In these conversations that we're having with our partners, I mean, oftentimes they're really talking about their pipeline, meaning their co-ops and their student hires. But what's also happening in the conversations is they talk about their own current employees needing to build new skills, right? We just talked about AI. We know that's an area that they'll lean into us for. So let us help you with your talent, new talent, and upgrading and continuously updating your current talent. With Level Up, and I'm a big fan of Scott Dust, who leads this program and our professional development efforts. Level Up is about leadership. And I study leadership. And I will assure you, you are always learning. You're always honing and expanding your toolkit as a leader. The goal of Level Up is to really build around a host of capabilities to help rising professionals go to that next level of leadership, bigger responsibilities, greater accountability, more strategy, operational, and culture building assignments. That's what Level Up is about.
And we have that here for professionals looking for learning and concentrated short bursts. Now let's shift gears a little bit and talk about Lindner's graduate programs, as I want to note the developments and accomplishments from this hardworking department. Lindner's full-time MBA cohort grew to 40 students this fall, and this cohort represents 8 countries, and almost half of the class have degrees from non-business disciplines, which is very interesting to me. Bloomberg Businessweek ranked that same program, Lindner's full-time MBA cohort program, 3rd in the country for return on investment, which is an outstanding accomplishment from everyone involved
it really
in GPO.
Is. It's outstanding.
Yeah. And finally, graduate programs launched 2 new graduate certificates, AI in Business, which I mentioned earlier, and Quantitative Finance.
Grant, I'm proud of our graduate programs. I mean, increasingly the way we work with our graduate offerings is we think about it as a portfolio. And think about, okay, there are really a couple of key reasons that you go for a graduate program. One, it is to upskill, right? It's to take it to the next level. You want to accelerate your career. But the second is to pivot, because you see that something's changing either in your own personal interests or the work that you're doing, and you want to move into a new category. That portfolio now is just getting increasingly robust here at Lindner, right? Yes, we've got wonderful traditional programs in marketing and finance, and I don't mean traditional as in old-fashioned or old school. I just mean fundamental, right? Really deep knowledge around marketing and finance as examples. Now we're getting increasingly specialized so that wherever you are in your career trajectory, you can look at that portfolio and say, oh, I want to really do a deeper dive into even a small chunk, not a full degree program, maybe a certificate, like you said, quantitative finance, right? Classic mix, beautiful, of analytics and AI and finance. And so much is happening in the world of finance around that integration. So come and do a certificate and learn more about the cutting edge. We bring in experts that are living in that field, and our own faculty are really pushing the envelope. But that's the goal here. Accelerate your career and or pivot. And sometimes it is both.
Right. And I've got examples of students doing both of those things coming up. So I've got a carrot I can dangle for our listeners and for Marianne in this room on this subject too. I'm working with graduate program staff and faculty to finalize some students from Lindner's MBA and Master of Science programs to appear on Bearcats Mean Business. Now, the goal of these podcasts is for listeners to get an insight on how graduate students found their way to Lindner. It'll be domestic and international students and their experiences as graduate students. So stay tuned. Now, Marianne, you've got an MBA and a PhD on your CV. What do you remember about your time as a graduate student and how that affected your journey?
Oh, that brings back so many memories, Grant. I remember my MBA well because I think I assumed it was going to just be a continuation of the undergraduate. It was going to feel the same. Not
so much?
No.
Yeah.
No, and I'm grateful that it didn't, because it shouldn't. It's not an undergraduate program.
Yeah, that's not the intention.
It's not the intention. It is truly a professional program. So it's very, very applied. And the expectation is that you have a different motivation, right? I mean, I love our undergraduate program. There's so much maturation, I mean, growing up that you do between a first year and a graduate and a graduating senior. But when you get into a graduate program, you're now a professional and you really are thinking about, how do I accelerate? What am I doing to take the next step? That motivation changes the people you're with, the cohort that you're learning with. It changes the way your faculty interact with you. The expectations are higher. And I've always believed that the higher the bar, the better you do. But boy, in those days, it was an eye-opening. I don't think I really understood because I didn't come to UC. I didn't have a co-op. I didn't have that experience. And here I am in an MBA program with everybody around me with way more experience than I did, realizing I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. And I better figure it out really fast. And I appreciated a graduate setting to push me.
Which is, and again, an attention of our programs, especially the MBA, which I know you and I have both spent some considerable time with in the full-time program, and to see the strides that they've made and the rankings now reflect the work that they've put in and the qualifications and the qualities that program has.
Well, and if I can, I mean, number 3 in the country in return on investment. That is an incredible statement about our program. That means that the transformation and trajectory change that happens in a single year of an MBA program.
Yep, just 1 year.
Just 1 year is number 3 in the country. And I just want to put a big point on that because I'm very proud of it and I know the hard work that goes into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, as we near the end of this episode, I'd like to note that Lindner hosted numerous Lindner-produced or Lindner-affiliated events in our building this fall. The list includes, but is not limited to, the Data Science Symposium, Lindner Business Honors Homecoming, which included a surprise appearance from Lindner alumnus Jason Kelsey. I think you're familiar with him, Marianne, right? The annual Symposium Gala for the African Professionals Network, the Project Management Institute of Southwest Ohio Summit, and the Journal of Accounting, Auditing, and Finance Symposium on ESG. Again, that's just a sample of everything that has happened this fall, which went by way too fast.
It did, didn't it? But I love those examples, and there are so many more. There is always something going on in Lindner Hall. I think it is the beauty of a gorgeous building, well-positioned in the middle of campus, and the energy. There's always a buzz in this building, and I think it matters.
Right. And I like just to think of Lindner Hall as a hub for empowering business problem solvers, not only for students, but for staff and faculty and our partners and many other stakeholders who come through these doors. And I think we pride ourselves also on being a place of celebration and commemoration and just being welcoming overall.
Yeah, absolutely.
My thanks to Dean Lewis for stopping by the Lindner podcast studio today. Bearcats Mean Business is going on a brief hiatus during the holiday season, but we will be back prior to the start of spring semester, which begins on January 13th. If you enjoyed today's episode, consider subscribing or leaving a 5-star review for Bearcats Mean Business on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Thanks for tuning in. Happy holidays and go Bearcats.
Thank you, Grant. Go Bearcats.